E.N.D here, day 9 and the last day for the spoilers of Outlaws of Thunder Junction. It was a pleasure that I brought you on a daily basis all the cars spoiled for this western set. Unfortunately, nowadays very few YouTubers do so, especially the big ones. They don't even cover spoilers. Anyway, let's start. And I want to start from where I left yesterday, the last couple of big score cars. Generous Plunderer for 1 and 1 red to 2 with Menace. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may create a treasure token. When you do, target opponent creates a tapped treasure token. Whenever it attacks, it deals damage to defending player equal to the number of artifacts they control. Ancient Cornucopia 2 and 1 green artifact. Whenever you cast a spell that's 1 or more colors, you may gain 1 life for each of that spell's color. Do this only once each turn. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. Territory Forge 4 and 1 red artifact. Enters the battlefield. If you cast it, exile target artifact or land. It has all activated abilities of the exiled card. FOMO Revolt land. Tap to add 1 colorless. 3 tap, discard a card. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of artifacts you control. Put 1 of those cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. Commander Outlaws of Thunder Junction will come with 4 pre-constructed commander decks. First deck, Desert Bloom. Its commander, Yuma Proud Protector. Yuma, after fleeing his old life, found a new purpose in caring for an infant cactus folk. Kirri Talented Sprout for 1 red, 1 green and 1 white, 0/3. Other plants and 3 fox you control get +2/0 at the beginning of your pre-combat main phase. Return target plant, 3 fork or land card from your graveyard to your hand. Sand Scout for 1 and 1 white to 2. Enters the battlefield. If an opponent controls more lands than you, search your library for a desert card, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Whenever 1 or more land cards are put into your graveyard from anywhere, create a 1/1 red, green and white sand warrior creature token. This ability triggers only once each turn. Angel of Indemnity 5 and 1 white, 5/5 flying lifelink. Enters the battlefield. Return target permanent card with mana value 4 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Encore for 6 and 2 white. Embrace the Unknown 2 and 1 red sorcery. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. Retrace. Cataclysmic Prospecting X and 2 red sorcery. It deals X damage to each creature. For each mana from a desert spent to cast the spell, create a tapped treasure token. Vengeful Regrowth 4 and 2 green sorcery. Return up to 3 target land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Create that many 4/2 green plant warrior creature tokens with reach. Flashback for 6 and 2 green. Dune Chanter 2 and 1 green to 3 with reach. Lands you control and land cards you own that aren't on the battlefield are deserts in addition to their other types. Lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. Tap, mill 2 cards, you gain 1 life for each land card milled this way. Rumbleweed 10 and 1 green, 8/8. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each land card in your graveyard. Vigilance, Reach, Trample. Enters the battlefield, other creatures you control get +3/3 and gain Trample until end of turn. Cactus Preserve Land Desert. Enters the battlefield tapped. Tap, add 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. 3 until end of turn. It becomes an XX green plant creature with reach, where X is the greatest mana value among your commanders. It's still a land. Second deck, Quick Draw. Its commander, Stella Lee Wildcard. She's an undisputed champion of dueling. Ares Roar of the Storm 8, 1 blue and 1 red, 4/4. The spell costs 2 less to cast for each different mana value among instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard. Flying Prowess. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, create a 4/4 red dragon elementary creature token with flying and prowess. Forger's Foundry 2 and 1 blue artifact. Tap, add 1 blue mana. When you spend this mana to cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value 3 or less, you may exile that card instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard as it resolves. 3 and 2 blue. Tap, you may cast any number of spells from among cards exiled with it without paying their mana cost. Activate only as a sorcery. Thunderclap Drake 1 and 1 blue, 2/1 with flying. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. 2 and 1 blue. Sacrifice it. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy it for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. Lock and Load 2 and 1 blue. Sorcery. Draw a card, then draw a card for each other instant and sorcery spell you've cast this turn. Plot for 3 and 1 blue. Crackling Spellslinger 3 and 2 red to 2. Flash. Enters the battlefield. If you cast it, the next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn has Storm. Smoldering Stagecoach 3 and 1 red, asterisk 5. Its power is equal to the number of instant and sorcery cards in your graveyard. Whenever it attacks, the next instant spell and the next sorcery spell you've cast this turn each have Cascade. Crew for 2. Elemental Eruption 4 and 2 red, sorcery. Create a 4/4 red dragon creature elemental token with flying and prowess. Storm. Pyretic Charge 4 and 1 red, sorcery. Discard your hand, then draw 4 cards. For each card discarded this way, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Plot for 3 and 1 red. Leyline Dowser for 2 generic mana artifact. 1. Tap, mill a card. You may put an instant or sorcery card milled this way into your hand. Tap an untapped legendary creature control. Untap it. Third deck, Gran Larceny. Its commander, Gonti Cunny Acquisitor. Gonti is a thief and will always be a thief. Felix 5 boots, 2, 1 black, 1 green and 1 blue, 5/4 Menace War 2. If a creature you control dealing combat damage to a player causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Arcane Heist 2 and 2 blue, sorcery. You may cast target instance or sorcery card from your opponent's graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into their graveyard, exile it instead. Cypher. Smarking Spelljacker 4 and 1 blue, 3/3 flash flying. Enters the battlefield, exile target spell and opponent controls. When it attacks, if a card is exiled with it, you may cast the exile card without paying its mana cost. Heartless Conscription 6 and 2 black, sorcery. Exile all creatures. For each card exiled this way, you may play that card as long as it remains exiled, and mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell. Exile it. Thieving Vermit for 1 and 1 black, 2/1 Death Touch lifelink. Tap, pay 1 life, add 2 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only to cast spells you don't own. Orochi Soul Reaver 5 and 1 black, 5/4 ninjutsu 3 and 1 black. Whenever one or more creatures you control deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token and manifest the top card of that player's library. Savage Raider 3 and 1 green, 3/3 enters the battlefield, exile target permanent card from your graveyard. You may play that card for as long as it remains exiled. Spells you cast from anywhere other than your hand cost 1 less to cast. Tower Winder 1 and 1 green, 1/1 reach Death Touch, enters the battlefield, search your library and or graveyard for a card named Command Tower, reveal it and put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle. Fallen Shinobi 3, 1 blue and 1 black, 5/4 ninjutsu 2, 1 blue and 1 black. When it deals combat damage to a player, the player exiles the top 2 cards of their library. Until end of turn, you may play those cards without paying their mana cost. Extract Brain X, 1 blue and 1 black, sorcery. Target opponent chooses X cards from their hand. Look at those cards. You may cast a spell from among them without paying its mana cost. Dream Thieves Bandana for 2 generic mana artifact equipment. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, look at the top card of their library, then exile it face down. For as long as it remains exiled, you may play it, and mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell. Equip for 1. Fourth and last deck, Most Wanted. Its commander, Olivia, Opulent Outlaw. Olivia failed to dominate in a strat, but her new alliance on Thunder Junction may yet prove worthwhile. Vihan Goldwaker, 1 red, 1 white and 1 black, 3/3. Other outlaws you control have vigilance and haste. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may have treasures you control become a 3/3 construct assassin artifact creatures in addition to their other types until end of turn. We Ride at Dawn, 2 and 1 white enchantment. Legendary creature spells you cast have Convoke. Whenever your commander attacks, create a 1/1 red mercenary creature token with tap. Target creature control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Angelic Sellsword, 4 and 1 white, 4/4 flying vigilance. Whenever it or another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 red mercenary creature token with tap. Target creature control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. When it attacks, if its power is 6 or greater, draw a card. Back in Town, X, 2 and 1 black, sorcery. Return X target outlaw creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Discreet Retreat, 3 and 1 black, enchantment aura, enchant land. Enchanted land has tap, add 2 mana of any one color. Spend this mana only to cast outlaw spells or activate abilities from outlaw sources. Whenever you cast your first outlaw spell each turn, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Charred Grave Robber, 2 and 1 black, 3/1 enters the battlefield. Return target outlaw card from your graveyard to your hand. Escape for 3 and 2 black. Escapes with a +1/+1 counter on it. Death Before Sunrise, 3 and 1 red, instant until end of turn. Outlaw creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain tap. This creature deals combat damage equal to its power to target creature. Grey Waters Fixer 2 1 black and 1 red for 4. Each Outlaw creature card in your graveyard has Encore X, where X is its mana value. Bounty Board 3 generic mana artifact, tap, add 1 mana of any color. For 1 tap, put a bounty counter on target creature, activate only as a sorcery. Whenever a creature with a bounty counter on it dies, each of its controller's opponents draw a card and gain 2 life. So that was the last card in this particular day 9 and the last day of the spoilers of Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Again, thank you for the views, thank you for the support, and thank you for being part of my channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more and more interesting videos about Magic the Gathering and the collectible world.